All right, President-elect Donald Trump has repeatedly vowed to repeal and replace Obamacare with something better. Yesterday, President Obama said, that's great if Republicans can pull it off.
If they can come up with something better that actually works, and a year or two after they've replaced the Affordable Care Act with their own plan, that 25 million people have health insurance, and it's cheaper and better and running smoothly, I'll be the first one to say, that's great. Congratulations.
Let's bring in one of the architects of Obamacare, MIT economics professor Jonathan Gruber. Good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here, Maria.
So we know what Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail. Can you change the legislation but leave things like pre-existing conditions, young people on their parents' plan? Because those are the two things that Donald Trump said are worth keeping.
There's 2 points, Maria. First of all, on pre-existing conditions, let's be clear, that isn't the big problem that the Affordable Care Act fixed. So let's take the example of my wife. She's a breast cancer survivor. If Donald Trump says insurers can no longer exclude pre-existing conditions, she could walk in and the insurer should say, yes, you have pre-existing condition, I won't exclude it, but I'm going to charge you $10,000 a month, or I'll just deny you insurance. Donald Trump doesn't solve those problems. The Affordable Care Act does.
Okay, but the Affordable Care Act also has made it incredibly expensive for business and for individuals. I mean, there's a reason that United Healthcare said they were going to lose $1 billion on it, and so they're pulling out of the plan. So obviously there's something seriously wrong with this legislation to upset so many people because they can't afford it.
But Maria, I'm afraid you're just wrong on that. Let's start with businesses. 150 million Americans get insurance through their employer. The cost of employer insurance today is $3,100 lower than it would have been that was projected before Obamacare. Individual insurance, which is paid by about 7 million people, is exactly where it would have been absent Obamacare. The press coverage has been completely misleading on this. Obamacare has actually saved people money.
So why have 3 major insurance companies left the exchanges?
They've left the exchanges because this is a new and innovative insurance market for which they're not prepared. They want to offer expensive, broad network products that people don't want. People want less expensive products. They want more selective products, and that's what they're demanding. People are looking for a new kind of insurance. There are other companies that are doing very well that are thriving on these exchanges, and we're in a transition period.
Yeah.
Any new insurance market goes through a transition period.
So why are we seeing, on average, 25% increases in premiums next year, and in a state like Arizona, you're going to see premiums up 116%?
Well, basically, if you look at it, Maria, what you're not accounting for is actually premiums were 20% below where they would have been without the law before these increases. Basically what happened is insurers came in too low. They realized that now they're catching up. They're basically where they would have been without the law. You take a state like Arizona and some other states where it's high, that's because these states have fought the law rather than supporting it. If you look at states that have actually encouraged people to sign up and behaved as this law expected, expanding Medicaid and encouraging people to sign up, premiums are very much under control and growing much more slowly.
You know, I've had this debate with Zeke Emanuel many times, and it's very hard to make the case that you're making knowing what the reality is. And the reality is that families cannot afford Obamacare. And the reality is that the premiums for families across the country have skyrocketed. And even if you're in a plan with your company, like you say so many people are, companies are not hiring more workers because they are being forced to provide health care. So the plan 100% is being looked at as way too expensive. That's not press, that's not speculation. This is what families and businesses are saying.
Maria, that's just wrong. I mean, quite frankly, what you're missing is that Obamacare did not fix all the world's problems. You have to ask yourself, did Obamacare make things better in America? Not
Jonathan,
did Obamacare...
what is wrong with what I just said?
What is wrong with what I just said is the following. First of all, you keep bringing in employers. Employer insurance was falling dramatically before Obamacare. Since Obamacare came in, it's been flat. It hasn't fallen, and premiums have gone down. They've gone down.
Premiums are going up in 17, on average by 25%. We know this from the
not for
Obama
employers,
White
Maria.
House.
Not for employers, Maria. You keep mixing it up. Employers, most of your listeners have employer-sponsored insurance. Their premiums are not going up 22%. They're growing at the slowest in measured history.
Because all these insurance companies have pulled out. You've got Humana,
They've
United
not pulled
Health,
out.
Aetna.
Maria, once again, let's please. They've not pulled out of employer insurance. You're mixing it up. Employer insurance, which is what most of your listeners have, 150 million people, no insurers are leaving, premiums are growing at historically slow rates, premiums are $3,100 below what we expected. Now let's come to the individual exchanges. That affects at most 7 million people.
Right.
Okay, 1/20th is large. There you're right. Insurers have left, premiums are up. In that market, premiums are up to where they would have been before the law, because over the last 3 years they've been down 20%. You're not